Good morning, folks. This is Patrick Henry. I'm 28 years old. I live in Edmonds, Washington, and I've been seizure free for a year. Now, I started having seizures when I was 23 years old. I made a little vlog about it a couple years ago about how terrible my seizures had gotten and how I would keep having absent seizures, and it would be highly embarrassing, especially when you own a business, a landscaping company, and you go to do an estimate on a yard, and you're sitting there, and your brain blanks out, and you're sitting there searching for words. Now, I have always had high anxiety. I was a younger kid, and my mom was always kind of the person, oh, go to the doctor and get some medication. Come on, let's go get some meds for you. You need to chill out. So, I went and saw a psychiatrist, and I was prescribed probably one of the worst things they could have ever prescribed a 13-year-old kid. I was prescribed alprazolam, which some of you obviously know on the streets as Xanax, Xannies, bars, whatever the hell you guys like to call them out there. I don't fucking know, because I personally think this is the worst drug anybody can do for use for a prolonged period of time. And I don't think anyone needs it. No fucking way, dude. They don't need to give you Xanax if you have high anxiety. You just need to fucking talk, man, and figure out what's up. Or get on something a little bit more mild, because Xanax is bad news, guys. Bad fucking news. And I'm an exact running example, and I can explain to every single one of you why that I feel that Xanax is the worst prescribed drug for anxiety or anything that anybody could use. So I had no clue. No fucking clue. I was on a very small dose of alprazolam for years. I took 1 milligram, which is half of a bar, every night, just to help me sleep, from the time I was maybe 14 until 23. And then sometimes I would fluctuate my dose. Sometimes, you want to take a bar and a half and, feel it a little bit and smoke some weed and get a little bit cooked. We all do that. We're fucking human. We're human. We seek our dopamine. As Satan says in that South Park episode, ironically enough, watch that. It's actually fucking hilarious when Satan explains dopamine. Good one. Look it up on YouTube. So, cigarette went out. God damn it. So, seizures randomly started happening when I was 23 years old. Fucking randomly, out of nowhere. Never had a seizure in my life. Never. Came home one day, took a bong hit after work, had a seizure. No one knew why. Went to the hospital, was checked out, had EEG, went and saw a neurologist, was put on medications. Nothing helped. Nothing. I was getting really, really scared. I was getting sad. I was worried. I was afraid that I was going to have these for the rest of my life. And something fucked up was going to happen. I had a 240SX, I had an S14. I loved my S14. Had an SR20 in it. 5-speed manual transmission. It was lowered. Had some nice camber on it. Oh my god, I love that fucking car. I love that fucking car, man. And I had a seizure when I was in West Seattle, and I rear-ended someone. Yeah. The cool thing is the people that I rear-ended never called in the insurance because they felt so bad, and I didn't do any damage to their car. But there's the front end of my car all fucked sideways. I almost started crying, but I did fix my car. I did. I found an S14 in Japan. I bought the whole entire front core support, the front fenders, and I fixed my fucking car. I even had one of my buddies that welded, cut the whole entire front core support on, and put a whole new one on. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't have a seizure. So this is how I figured it out. This is how I fucking figured it out. One day, we're going to fast forward 5 years. I'm 28 now. So I started a landscape business she's fucking psycho. She just wants me to throw the frisbee. This is my dog. This is my border collie. This is Andy. Yep. So anyways, fast forward 5 years. I started a landscaping business right at the beginning of 2020. And that was right when my absent seizures were starting to get pretty bad. So I'd be talking to you completely normally, and then all of a sudden, just, no, gone. Didn't know what I was going to say. It was very embarrassing. And I had one in front of that woman when I was estimating her yard. She was a nurse practitioner. The most ironic thing about this whole thing is this woman lived in walking distance from my house to estimate. Walking distance, within 2 miles. It would have technically been quicker for me to ride my bicycle through the 2 trails than to drive around the block. She lived that close. So I started talking to her, doing a yard estimate. She wanted her yard edged and she wanted it reseeded. So I started doing my estimate, and then I blanked out. Blanked. And she looked at me and she goes, "Are you epileptic?" And I said, "Well, they say that I am." And then it was kind of funny because then we went into talking about my medical issues instead of estimating the yard. So she's sitting there asking me, "Hey, what do you take? What are you on? How long have you been taking this?" So on and so forth. And the first thing I mentioned was alprazolam. And she goes, "Oh, you should probably take that into consideration. How long have you been on it?" I said, "Well, I've been on it since I was about 14. She goes, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "I'm telling you right now that is probably 95% of the reason that you're having seizures continuously." I said, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not your neurologist. And I can't tell you that anything is right or wrong, but that's my idea." And she said, "Have you ever tried getting off it?" And I said, "Well, no, I haven't." She goes, "Maybe you should try. Talk to your doctor. Maybe it's time for you to get a new doctor." And I looked at her and I said, "You know what? I think you're right." I never did end up going to do that woman's yard. But I did call her and thank her extensively for giving me the information that I needed to get rid of my seizures. So that night, after I had that conversation with her, I went home and I cut my dose in half. Haven't had a seizure since. I slowly tapered until I was finally completely off of alprazolam, which took me about 4 months. But being completely off of it, my head's a lot more clear. I feel better. I can think better. I'm sleeping better. I'm not having any weird, depressive, fucking random suicidal thoughts like some of us get sometimes because this world is fucked. I don't have any of that. I'm a lot less irritable. I don't fly off the handle as much when I get upset about something. Like when I would get upset when I was on this medication and whatnot, I would just rage. It was like I couldn't handle it. It was like I fucking couldn't handle shit. It was weird. It basically made me a pussy. Let's just leave it at that. So that's what caused my seizures. That was the root to that's the root to why neurologists thought that I was epileptic. It was all because of the Xanax. Every single seizure that I experienced was as a result of a Xanax withdrawal or some sort of a neurological dysfunction in my brain from using Xanax for such a long time. So take my advice. Don't ever do Xanax. Don't ever even consider even being prescribed Xanax, because it will ruin your life. Have a good day, guys. Bye.